Um, hello, good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are on planet Earth. This is my first live in a long time, so I feel a little bit sketchy with it, but should get back on track in no time. So before I go into the information I'm going to share with you, I just want to give you a bit of an update on what's been going on. So I'm at the moment back at work since about March, April. I wasn't able to work for quite a long time. People will know what I'm talking about, but things relaxed and I've been back working. So yeah, I've been pretty busy and I've been like traveling all over the countryside of Australia. And at the moment I just spent 10 days up west of Childers in Queensland, up near Bundaberg. So luckily it was overcast because it's quite hot and humid up here. But it was overcast because of this wet weather cycle that we're in. So I drove down to Brisbane and then I flew out, and then 4 days went past, I've flown back. So I've flown back up to Brisbane. I've driven up here and we get out to the work site and there's too much water. It's basically flowing over a dam that I'm working at. So the job's been canned. So today we spent the day packing everything up, and tomorrow morning I drive south back down from Childers here. We've had some really wicked storms coming through, like hail, lightning, potential tornado sort of activity. Anyway, so tomorrow I'm going to go down through Brisbane to the north coast, New South Wales, and then make my way down to Sydney and then further, and then I think I'm going over to Lithgow. I just spent the last 2 months working out of Penrith in Sydney, down there to the west of Sydney, and before that I was in the Snowy Mountains near Mount Kosciuszko. So yeah, been traveling around a bit, doing lots of driving. Even though the price of fuel has increased a lot, it hasn't stopped me from moving around. But yeah, I was going to go into some information, but I want you to use your discernment on it. I'll just share it. A lot of you have probably already come across it, but it's from a couple of perspectives on a very similar thing. There's been a lot of channeled messages indicating that we are in the time, we are in the window time now. Like I think today, is it today or the 28th? There's a solar eclipse, and then I think it's somewhere around the 5th of November, there's a lunar eclipse. But Mars is about to go retrograde. So this whole Ukraine-Russia thing, it's meant to escalate because there's something coming from that to take us to where we're going. So it has to manifest in order to move things to a certain thing. It was interesting. I had to get a taxi from Brisbane Airport to somewhere else to pick someone up and a vehicle, and my taxi driver happened to be a Russian and his wife is a Ukrainian. So that was very interesting. We had a very, very interesting conversation about things which I won't go into here. but that was quite interesting. Anyway, I'll get into the information that I have here. So use your discernment. Some people are having a fear reaction to this, and use your own discernment about it. But there's a lot of communities who are orientated around this manifestation of an event that is global, and there seems to be a lot of indicators to say that we're in that time now. So I'm thinking if it does happen, it could happen any day now, between now and say the somewhere 8th of November. It doesn't mean that it won't happen after that if it doesn't happen, but there's a lot of particular lining up of certain things that could mean it happens, but it doesn't mean it will happen. Anyway, I'll start reading it. So, major warning, big times are upon us, folks. This person says that they were at a briefing from a deep insider, and I believe the location of this meeting was on the Gold Coast. I don't have the names of the people that were there. It says, buy a whole lot of food and water tomorrow. If you are not already prepared, do it by Monday night. Well, today's Tuesday night. Nothing has happened so far. We are right on the precipice right now, says the speaker, quoting, Australia head of a major bank yesterday, get prepared. Prepared to not be able to leave your home for 10 days to a few weeks during a military lockdown and mass arrests of the criminal elite. Yes, it's happening. So another information about this said that there'll be a press conference of governmental officials. Hi Mary. That will tell everyone that there's a military operation unfolding, and everyone has to go home, and they have 3 hours to get home. I don't know if that's the actual truth, but they're saying everyone will have 3 hours to get home and shouldn't be outside, with the potential to become being shot for the wrong reasons. But that's a military, like, in past times, that's always been a military strategy when it's basically a curfew under martial law for certain reasons. So use your discernment. That aspect is coming from memory of past historical events. I'm not sure if that necessarily applies to the present, but that's what it says. Prepare to not be able to leave your home for a few weeks during a military lockdown and mass arrests of the criminal elite. Make sure you have enough water in case the power goes off and there's not even enough water to flush the toilet. Get enough food and necessities to last you for up to a month. Get at least a month's worth of cash out now. The great clean out is upon us. The storm that some have predicted is at hand. Don't be caught out. Buy enough canned food, grains, sproutables, and necessities this weekend, which is just gone. Get a cheap AM, FM portable radio and cheap CB unit, and 3 times 20 litres of fuel. I'm going to add something in here from other information. They said if the internet goes down or the power goes down or whatever, but if the internet, if there is some sort of communication that is still available through our little mobile phone handsets, it may be the Signal app, but I don't know if that's true or not, but there is some information floating around that the Signal app will still function, but there needs to be emergency broadcast systems anyway to the mass public. It says here to get 3 times 20 litres of fuel. This is just someone's perspective. There would be differing perspectives on how much or how less you would need. I would make sure that you've got a full tank of fuel, because if this goes down, you don't want to be rushing around trying to get stuff when everyone else is panicking and they're all out there. People out in the country areas would be better off than the people in the cities for such an event of such magnitude. So buy enough fuel and food for bartering. If you are prepared, you will be fine. If not, the great societal freakout will be your experience too. Again, these are words of someone putting their perspective on what they were told in the meeting. Get to Coles and buy at least 6 times 10 litres of spring water bottles, so you can have something to drink or flush. If the power goes off and there is no water from your tap, if none, get bottled water, buy eggs, rice, split peas, sardines, canned fish, $200 worth of canned veggies. You can always give them away later, but you can't buy them when the supermarkets are all completely out or closed and people are hungry or desperate. Do it today. It is a cheap insurance that you will be okay and not hungry and glamouring for military handouts, because if there is some sort of military martial law, they may take control of certain things like that while this cleanup is going on. If this is a real thing and it does go down, I've had to accept that given my location, I wouldn't have 3 hours to get to where I need to be, which would mean putting myself up in a motel if that was to be the announced case. But I don't know if that's true. I'm just simply sharing the rhetoric of what's going on. I'll share you some more information. So this is pretty much channeled information from some of you might know or have heard of Commander Valiant Thor of the Galactic Federation of Light, and this is on a very similar scale. So this is what it says. Alina Danan said earlier that the Galactic Federation of Light and the Intergalactic Confederation are working together to carry out their operations. Right after receiving a spiritual activation tonight, I was accidentally guided to this. An agreement has been reached today between the Federation of Light and those who have enslaved Earth's population. The agreement deals with the return to the people of Earth of their freedom and sets in motion the removal and replacement of enslaved systems. Universal laws, including divine justice. Those who violated the sovereign rights of others will face the consequences of their actions according to divine law. The consequences will be faced on the planet and off the planet. Approximately 500,000 people will leave Earth as this transition takes place over a period of months. On October the 30th, a 10 to 14 day period with no communication systems will begin. Internet, telephone and phone services will cease. The purpose of cessation of communications is to allow for the orderly transition of many systems to the new quantum systems, including the new quantum financial system, the new quantum electoral system, the new quantum communication systems. Starting October 30th, during the transition period, the USA and some other countries will be under martial law. The martial law state must have clear lines of authority and decision-making during the period when the United States Corporation is officially terminated, which will require new elections in accordance with the United States Constitution. Generally speaking, there will be no interruption of power, water and utilities, although minor interruptions may occur in specific areas for unique military operation reasons. The Federation of Light, in conjunction with the US military, will take over the television and radio channels and begin ongoing broadcasts to help residents of the US and other countries receive information about these changes. NESARA, National Economic Security and Reformation Act, will be announced and explained. Under NESARA, which has already been signed into US law, and upon its enactment, the US has 120 days to hold a new election, electing a president and vice president and all senators, representatives and other elected federal officers. Information on how these changes impact state elections will be provided during broadcast information briefings. The US midterm elections scheduled for November the 7th will be cancelled, postponed until they can be held using the new quantum electoral system and reflecting changes in the United States federal government. Due to the major impacts of miscommunication on airlines and other forms of transportation for this extended period, people are encouraged not to travel during this period. Due to the move to a largely cashless society and with all banks closing during the 10 to 14 day period, people are encouraged to prepare for October the 30th. It is suggested that everyone have adequate food, medicine and other essential supplies stored to cover their needs during this 2-week period, as many businesses will not function without communication services. Please consider the needs of others who may experience difficulties in this situation. Neighbours are encouraged to consider all other neighbours and provide compassionate support to one another. Local emergency services will be asked to prepare to meet the needs of their local community as much as possible. People are encouraged to keep the faith, and these changes are the answer to their prayers for more justice and the end of a rigged system. During the month of October, there can be a number of events that the mainstream media may portray as dangerous or frightening. Now, that is emerging with the dirty bomb scenario with Ukraine, Russia, and this destroying of this dam, which the West is trying to blame Russia on, but it doesn't make sense because Russia needs that for further downstream at Crimea. So why would they hurt themselves? Please rest assured that the Galactic Federation will not allow things like nuclear war to take place. Warheads are easily inoperative, even if they have been fired. Please know that these events will serve as a light to help more people understand the significant change is necessary, desirable, and will support all of life. Please pray for peace, harmony, goodwill among all people and all life on earth, prosperity, and an abundance of God's supply of all good things. Keep compassion and love in your hearts for your friends, family, neighbours, and all life. Go for walks, get into nature to help calm your central nervous system. Take time and be still and step inside to connect with your higher self and inner guidance. Invoke ascended hosts, the angelic realms, the ascended masters, and other beings of light for support, assistance, encouragement, and to calm down as needed. Those of you who look forward to these events are called upon to assist those who may find this information new and surprising or even fearful. Please help everyone to know that the divine plan is unfolding. The sovereignty of all life and Earth's inhabitants are respected and all is well. We will provide additional information as events unfold. Valiant Thor, on behalf of the Intergalactic Federation. So that's quite interesting. There has been some other information also indicating very similar things. What I'd like to also add, potentially, but not necessarily what it is, but this whole mainstream media that is focused on a particular activity of this side against that side of Ukraine and Russia and China and Taiwan and this scenario, that while it may seem like that is what is happening, there's conflict, but it could also be that some of certain sides of this military conflict, even though they're engaged in a so-called enemy, it could be the greater purpose that what this looks like is actually to activate the next level, which is a global situation where they take the focus away from the so-called enemy that they're pretending to be the enemy of, like Russia being the enemy of the Ukraine, but then suddenly the new targets will be the elite cabal targets. And so if the media starts to show indicators that there's some sort of strikes that aren't making sense, that don't fit into the narrative of this side against that side, it's because they're using that narrative of the war that we're seeing in the media as a cover to then actually go for targets that involve the globalist criminal cabal. And so there could be a day where the target of this military activity suddenly goes global, and instead of it being Russia against NATO or NATO against Russia, it will in a sense bypass those terminologies and engage the source of the globalist tyrants who are behind everything, and potentially their buildings. So it may involve international targets that don't make any sensical meaning to the current narrative, because it's broader and it's going for these players who hide in different places, who are in the shadows pulling the strings to push their agenda. So it could be something that goes that sort of way as well, because that did come to me that way, which would also have an element of surprise, I guess. So anyway, all right. Yeah, hi Tim, how you going? It's good to see you. It's been a long time since I've been on here. I've been thinking about doing this for about a week, but anyway, I've got to get off. I've got to go to bed. I've got to get up, and I've got to do this drive south. And yeah, so we're in some really interesting times. It's going to be a really interesting time between now going right through to Christmas. It's going to be very, very interesting. I think I may have left it too late to shift my money that I have in the bank, which I don't trust that they will not betray us all. and take it under the narrative of some international bankruptcy type emergency where they steal our funds. And if that does happen, we have to just deal with that the best we can, knowing it's probably only temporary, given what the positive things are to come in behind that. So be prepared to suddenly lose your whole life savings, but trust that if that does happen, it is only going to be temporary if that scenario unfolds. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to move stuff across to gold. Anyway, it was, yeah, so expect the masses to come into some scenarios in the near future where there's a sense in the community of we the peoples of mass betrayal from banks or corporations or financing. The whole energy, because this Mars retrograde thing that's coming up with war and all this other stuff astrologically that's coming in around the end of October and into November, it's coming up around finance and betrayal. So that betrayal energy could be relating to something that a little surprise for us to do with banking, which is all in the Western world, not so much in Russia and those countries who are still not operating on the American dollar through oil gas trade under that nefarious Western Roman Empire system that we're all an umbrella nation of. Given that the Commonwealth of Australia is just the rebranding and renaming of the British Empire, which still holds a structure just like past empires of the past and how they run things, even though we're not living in ancient times, but still it's a system of governance. And there's always an element of fascism, that we are actually living and in a time, even if we're so brainwashed into the default system we exist in, that we cannot identify the fascist system that we're in unless you were to start existing outside this empire-like system in something better and kinder. Then you would start to see that some of our views that we think are moral and ethical is actually a convergence of fascism that we didn't even see happening. It's just become the norm and we don't even know we're doing it because we're so dumbed down and brainwashed, basically. So yeah, anyway, nanu, live long and prosper. I'm going to get off now, but it was really nice to talk to you all, and it's good to be back. I've got a brand new phone pretty much, so it should be functioning and the sound should be really, really good. Hopefully I do this more often. I just haven't been feeling the urge, the drive, for whatever reason. So yeah. Anyway, I'll talk to you all soon. By the way, I'm in day 3. I've started a fasting, so I'm having a bit of protein and I'm drinking water. I'm having some protein stuff as well, but basically I haven't eaten for 3 days and I'm really putting my mind to it. So yeah, I've been having a few cold sweats and stuff as my body's starting to shift. But yeah, just gonna see how long I can do this safely, and you know, if I need to eat some fruit or a banana or something, I will, but I'm basically not having meals, and I'm totally off anything with sugar at the moment as well. So yeah, All right, everyone. So, Nanu, live long and prosper, and talk to you all soon. Bye for now. I'll be putting this straight across onto YouTube on my Cosmic Truth, Justice, Earth, the second born, because the first one where I had, 12,000 or whatever it was, subscribers got wiped. They took me down. Anyway, so I've got another one. It's, yeah. So anyway, all right. Talk to you all soon. Bye for now.